Unreal Engine 4 has grown to be a quite important game for today's PC game development, and as such this video will be kind of dedicated to it, since I'm going to benchmark an Unreal Engine 4 engine. Hello guys, this is Utagamon, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to benchmark Space Hulk Deathwing on a single GTX 1070 paired with an old Core i7-860 in order to see how Unreal Engine games can cope with hyper-threaded CPUs today, and if an old Sandy Bridge is faster than an even older Linfield hyper-threaded one. This video is recorded at 60 frames per second as always, so what you will see in this video will be pure performance. I'm using an external recorder for that, so no system resources will be wasted for the recording of the video itself. That's why the system is idling perfectly right now. The CPU is overclocked to 4 GHz in order to compare the performance with my 4.8 GHz 2500K later on at the end of the video. 12 GB of system RAM, and the graphics card is a GTX 1070 made by KF82. It is the EX model running on the latest firmware, and it is also overclocked in order to reach 2 GHz of core clock. I'm going to use fraps to gather frame rate data. We will see the basic result in this file and some analysis during the end of the video with flat after I have collected all the important game data. The game is quite interesting in my opinion. A lot of shooting, a lot of action going on, all hell breaks loose, quite fun. Okay, options first. Video 1080p resolution, maximum graphics quality preset selected, no vertical sync of course, no mid motion blur. Thankfully the developers were wise enough to decouple this from the overall graphics quality preset. I'm disabling this due to video compression quality and video clarity. It has no performance impact. And what else? The advanced options, no, the advanced are on the right. Okay, that's it. I'm loading my
We located the ancient Dark Angel ship
location,
in the heart of the Space Hulk. After finding out that Squad Gideon,
which needs 1 second in order to.
We have encountered gene-stealer hybrids armed with ranged weapons.
I'm not starting.
They're launching counterattacks against the perimeter, threatening the integrity of the landing zone on the Earth.
And rush back to the portal. Okay. I'm stuck in the benchmark. I almost forgot why I was here.
We have to quickly destroy the Archaeotech engine.
Nothing can be done hastily and prudently, Brother Valentine.
So answers an apothecary.
Looking at our scan data, the Tech Marines have advised that the hybrids may be able to sever the ship where our squads are currently located, to propel it into the gravity well of the nearby planet. To prevent this, we must disable the propulsion system in this sector. If the enemy succeed, we will be forced to withdraw and return in another costly breaching assault. Precious time and lives will be wasted. The Emperor abhors failure.
I'm not sure why this is happening. This map popped up by itself. Just to bust my balls.
Warning! Missile launcher. Purge the impure. Warning, missile launcher.
What the fuck is going on?
Any stubborn.
Finish! Warning, missile. We are the Angels of Death. Play without mercy. Warning! Missile launcher. Missile!
status acceptable, brothers. Destroy the nest of Xenos in the adjacent battle zone. The lion dies out.
We have to prevent the enemy being reinforced from the nests you have just discovered.
Okay, I believe we have enough data. I don't want to overshoot the length of benchmark. The performance seems to be quite lower compared to the i5-2500K, but we will verify that in a minute. Now, yes, not the best of performances. We do have frame times all over the place, frame rate erratic, GPU usage not being maxed out, far from it, with a lot of dips. So from an initial standpoint, the game seems to be almost close to a disaster. We even reached frame rates that were below 60 frames per second, way below. Not a very good run, unfortunately. The CPU usage is again all over the place. I don't think that we have any meaningful operation of the logical processors. We can see the overall CPU usage is way below 50%, so we are essentially looking at a lot of thread switching, not a real logical cores usage. I expected a little better from Unreal Engine 4, to tell you the truth. Unfortunately, this is not the case. CPU temps are okay, however, GPU temps the same, RAM usage at 5.4 gigabytes. Two GHz for the core clock throughout the run. Memory usage at video RAM usage 5.2 gigabytes. This is quite crazy. We have the same RAM usage and the same video RAM usage. Very interesting. We are back in Amiga cheap and fast RAM days, my friends. So let's see the analysis, which should be the most important. Unfortunately, I think that I have actually undershot the benchmark length maximum, but what can you do? I am on my network drive and I want the space Hulk. Okay, I think I only have one run on this system. Space idiot. Yes, one run. 1070 with the i5-2500K, and let me load my current run of the GTX 1070 plus i7-860 on my local drive. Okay, 60 frames per second for 61 frames per second for the 860, 76 for the 2500K. Unfortunately, let me make this a blue color. The length is quite longer for the 2500K run. I'm not exactly sure why. I followed exactly the same path. Exactly. However, the performance is a lot better on the 2500K. Let me zoom into the 60 milliseconds threshold so we can have a clearer picture. We do have a lot of spikes in the frame times, as you can see, constantly, continuously, and for some strange reason they seem to be spaced apart every same milliseconds. I'm not exactly sure why this is happening. It is not a beautiful picture to see, of course, as far as frame times go. Even the frame times below 16.7 milliseconds are 42% above that. Not a very good performance. That is why we have an average of 42 frames per second from 60, while we had dropped to 54 frames per second from 76 on the 2500. We can see clearly that the enhanced variability of the game engine and the frame rate does produce an unwanted effect which makes the game feel slower than what it really is. The frame times speak for themselves. When you see frame times scattered like that all over the place, you know that there is something wrong with the game engine, the game itself, or the hardware that it is running it. But come on, I have run a lot of games on this system and the 2500K, which the histogram we are watching right now. Frame times are all over the place for this game. It will be a very interesting comparison on newer systems, however. Now, regarding the frame times themselves, we can see that wait a minute, the 2500K in the red is lower, of course, meaning better performance, but still they are a mess. Both the 860 and the 2500K are a mess. I'm not sure why, but every now and then we have the same spacing in the frame times in both the 860 and the 2500K, and a huge spike occurs in even spacing. Very weird. This is not something you see every day. The frame rate is of course better for the 2500K system. Unfortunately, these graphs cannot be completely comparable because there is a dynamic spawning of the enemies in this game. They do not spawn on the same place and in the same numbers all the time, so it is very difficult to follow a specific and exact path all the time, but still the benchmark holds its merit. We can see that we have a fairly good validity of the run, and the numbers correlate with each other. We do have about the same minimum, a logical difference in the average, and about the same maximum which was to be expected. The game is producing some crazy variability in the frame times, unfortunately. I'm not sure if a better system could help in this, because this means that the game design itself produces very different frame rates from place to place. We can see that we go inside corridors and then in a more open location, and the frame rate goes up and down, not to mention the enemies that are spawning. You can have 3 enemies or 10 enemies at the same time on screen, so this causes a huge variability in the frame rate. The stuttering is more similar in both systems, above 1 millisecond, which is not very good for the rendering. We need less than 1 millisecond, less than half if even if possible. Not the best performing game, unfortunately, but thankfully there is so much shooting going on that you can forget about the rest of the stuff. You can barely see it with all the shooting going on. The 99th percentile for both runs is not very good, but especially for the H60, we can see that we have a suffering in the frame times, going quite bad, even up to half of the run, almost half of the run, in order to reach 16 milliseconds and actually have a decent gaming experience. While on the 2500K, this 16 millisecond threshold is reached way sooner, so we have a better performance. Of course, with vertical sync, all this will be a lot better, but the problem is, in order to use VSync, you have to actually own a very powerful system, and we can see here how bad the frame rate, the actual feel of the game suffers from the variability first and the stuttering second. We have a feel of less than almost 40 frames per second for the H60 system, which is absolutely unacceptable when you equip it with a GTX 1070. However, it is what it is. We cannot change the game code. I hope more Unreal Engine games will not have the same performance issues. I will be on the lookout for more Unreal Engine games to benchmark. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.